Lathrop High was recognized as a model school for what we have done to build innovative learning environments for our students, focusing on teaching and learning in the classrooms. It's a really big honor, I'm going to say, for the staff, because this is really about the collective responsibility of the work that we have put in, not just in the 3 years that I've been principal, but prior to that. There was a really strong positive culture, and we have shifted that to a learning culture. And when I say we, I mean the whole staff.
We're super proud of all the efforts from teaching staff to community to support staff to leadership. We have specific goals embedded in standards, safety, and emerging students. Lathrop High School has developed a very comprehensive strategic plan that are aligned to those vision and mission with the board to benefit students.
Nearly half of our staff is involved in some sort of leadership capacity, and that goes up significantly when you add in club advisors and coaches and all of those other roles that take a leadership position, either with staff or students. When everyone is centered on being clear and transparent about what is expected, being intentional about their roles, and committing to that professional learning community, that PLC process, that's how we're able to move the work forward at a really strong rate for our student learning.
PLC stands for Professional Learning Community, but what a PLC is at Lathrop High School is it's a time for all of the professionals on campus to come together and collaborate. Our professional development time is really spent focused on what do teachers do well, and now can we have those teachers present to the staff so we're learning from one another. We actually have 2 learning labs on our campus this year, so one in English and one in math. At any point, teachers can come in and see really great teaching strategies in action.
We went from not sharing practice to having open doors, engaging in learning walks, and really focusing on innovative practices that impact students.
I think the expectation was what changed. Our kids, we have over 97.5% student athletes who are eligible at the end of the season with over a 2.5 GPA, and we had 605 kids do sports last year. So to have those numbers, and they keep going up and they keep getting better, I think it just speaks volumes to where we are putting our priorities, and that's in the classroom and in competition.
For me, one of the reasons that I chose to come work as a principal in Manteca Unified is because of the clear direction and vision of the superintendent. The support we've been given around the strategic plan and really refining our practice to ensure that every resource, right, time, money, and people is spent on impacting student learning. With the collective efforts of the district, it's really helped us to be very intentional about that work.
Manteca Unified has developed systems that are uniquely defined to support individual site strategic planning process. Each site's leadership and staff are driving the work, and the district itself has developed budgets, human resources, professional development, infrastructure, operations, all responsive to student needs.
Part of redefining the system is building a systemic approach that allows all teachers to have an understanding of what we're doing and why. Really is grounded in the transparency of here's what's happening on campus, and here's what we're considering, or what ideas do you have to move something forward for students.
I think this is one of the strengths of Lathrop High School, that they are able to dig into their data and use the data to inform their instruction. The staff is very willing to be creative and to learn new instructional strategies.
We've even heard from established teachers saying, like, this was so great, there was something that I just didn't think that I could tighten just a little bit, and it's made a huge difference in their classroom management. And that just is so amazing to continually refine our teaching practice, but being able to do that together and be able to share best practices is really such a wonderful thing.
What we're doing is working. Make it priority on the classroom, and make a priority that we are an extension of the classroom in our athletic program, that the expectations are the same, if not higher, when they get out into our practice fields and our courts, whatever it might be. They understand that that's the priority and that's what has to get done.
So some of the components in our strategic plan that are focused specifically on emerging students was around building the capacity of all of our teachers to understand their role regardless of what they're teaching, how to support EL learners within that content area. Because whether you are in a welding class or an English class, as a language learner, you're going to need that support. And the same thing for our students who are receiving special education services. So we've done a lot of deep work together, again, building that collective responsibility, but also also making sure that the pathways for students support what they need.
At the district level for the 25-26 school year, we were looking at our PLC training and focusing on student engagement. And in our math classrooms, we saw last year a big gain in how students perform in classrooms where engagement was increased.
I've already had a new teacher come into my classroom this year, and I'm able to actually say, okay, I want you to watch. We're going to talk about the difference between group work and collaboration. And then I'm able to go to the new teacher and say, what do you notice? Who's working? Who's not working? How many of them do you think are off task? What they notice is that when you don't give that structure, it becomes very loose, right? And you have students who are feeling like they don't want to contribute or don't have to, and they're not being heard in your classroom. When they're truly collaborating, every single student feels valued because every student has a role, right? And then that creates a really warm, welcoming classroom environment. And to be able to show that in real time to a new teacher is incredibly valuable, because then once they go back to their own classroom, they're able to see the difference that makes. And just in the first week or so of school, we've already seen that happen.
Over the last couple of years, we've really worked to promote back to school night for families, reinventing the entire process as a block party. Because some of us, it can be scary as a parent to come to a school and sit down and be talked at.
When you come to Lathrop, the culture is what makes Lathrop special. We like to bring the community onto campus. We like for them to see what it's like to be here. So it's food trucks and performances. You're not just going to come and walk and go through classes. There's a little bit more of a community aspect of it, and I think that's something that we've really focused on in the last few years, is building that community.
The other thing that we've done is we've actually revamped our freshman orientation. We sort of had that old school practice of parents come, drop your kid off, and see them in a couple of hours. And now we invite our families in. As a matter of fact, the last 2 years, nearly every freshman parent has arrived on campus and stayed for a parent orientation. It creates that opportunity for families to be comfortable on campus and see the level at which we want their students to feel connected.
It just feels like a privilege to be educated in such a high standard. The culture here on campus at LHS has made me be comfortable with the uncomfortable. It allows me to take risks, it allows me to meet new people, and it allows me to make bridges between communities.
Through our activities and our events, we continue to work on the same character traits that they learn. We talk about integrity, engagement, leadership, determination. We really focus on those SHIELD values.
These values became a day-to-day in my life because they're just shown all around campus, staff, students, and just everyone.
It's a culture that we take seriously, and doing the Spartan way and our SHIELD values, it translates to life.
For students, I hope that this award helps communicate that the staff here, teachers, clerical, custodial, care about their learning and want our students to succeed. And even beyond the students, the community, to understand that our investment in their children is essential for that learning and that we care about it deeply.
For the last 8 years, the district has been very clear. The board has been cleared with its vision and mission. Lathrop High School has really been able to take vision and intent and turn it into action, and students have benefited from that. And this is just a recognition of that achievement.
It's a community that made this happen. It wasn't just a small group of people, it's all our staff. Doesn't matter who it is, if you were on this campus, you're a part of it and you should be proud of it.